5 on Your Side at 10 starts now.
A young champion of the ring. The special surprise tonight for a kid wrestling with a chronic illness.
So fun, like the best fun I ever had.
One system is exiting the region, another one is on its way. We're looking out west. That's our next weather maker. When will it bring rain back to the forecast? I got the latest details coming up.
Our top story, sheriff's spending exposed. The new audit released just hours ago revealing new troubles for St. Louis's embattled sheriff. The results of the city probe come as Sheriff Alfred Montgomery sits in jail on unrelated federal charges. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Kelly Jackson. 5 News Side's Brent Solomon poured through the numbers tonight, which points to spending that has put the sheriff's office more than $800,000 over budget.
Yeah, the report from City Comptroller Donna Behringer points to overspending and even high-risk accounting failures. The report took a look at finances at the sheriff's office from July 2024, before Sheriff Alfred Montgomery took office, through June of this year, 6 months after he got in. The department has a budget of $14 million. It went over budget by $812,000, according to the audit. The biggest expense? Paying out workers who were dismissed once Montgomery came in. That cost more than $490,000 just 3 months into the job. The audit also flagged more than $95,000 spent on new uniforms, badges, a new car, and golf carts. The report says the office could have worked with the city to use a competitive bidding process to save cash. That audit also reveals poor payroll management and a need to adjust how cash is handled here in the office. Auditors are concerned if it's not fixed right away, this could lead to financial reporting errors or even the risk of fraud. Reporting downtown, Brent Solomon, 5 on Your Side.
An official with the sheriff's office told the comptroller she agrees with the findings and will begin to work on turning things around when the new financial year begins next summer. And tonight, Sheriff Montgomery's attorneys are fighting to get him out of jail. A federal judge sent him there 1 week ago after he violated his bond. In a motion filed today, Montgomery's attorneys argue that he remains the elected sheriff and the court should not prevent him from fulfilling his sworn law enforcement duties. Prosecutors say he used a burner phone to threaten witnesses in the federal case against him.
A live look at St. Louis Lambert International Airport tonight, where just hours ago, a plane carrying Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese made an unplanned landing. Australia's 7 News reports a crew member of the Royal Australian Air Force suffered a concussion when luggage fell from an overhead bin. That crew member was taken to a hospital in St. Louis for treatment. The Prime Minister was returning to his country from Washington, where he met with President Donald Trump to ink a new deal on rare earth minerals. While the winds are still whipping across St. Louis tonight, strong gusts today knocked down some trees and branches. One fell on a home in Florissant on St. Louis Street. No one was hurt. Firefighters say the home only sustained minor damage. So let's get right over to weather impact meteorologist Lance Blocker, who says it's also going to be a windy Wednesday.
Yeah, no doubt. We're expecting wind gusts not as bad as what we saw today. In fact, check out some of these peak wind gusts this afternoon. Arnold, 41 miles per hour. O'Fallon, not to be beat, also at 41. St. Louis downtown, we reached 35 miles per hour. So rough day for hair days across the region. Currently, right now, it's not too bad. Over the last hour or so, 5, maybe 10 miles per hour. That will pick up tomorrow, though, back to about 25 miles per hour. If you look up tonight, you might see a show. We've got meteors from the Orionid meteor shower peaking tonight and again tomorrow night, if not, tonight's not your night, but 20 meteors per hour. You want to look southeast anytime between midnight, so 2 minutes and 15 seconds from now, through 5 a.m. So as you head out, give yourself a few minutes for your eyes to adjust, and then you look up and you'll see those. Tomorrow morning, temperatures will be chilly in the 40s. We'll warm to the low to mid 60s tomorrow, but we got rain back in the forecast. I'll detail that out coming up in about 10 minutes.
We now know a deadly head-on crash in Iron County last week involved a van carrying a group of St. Louis area students. The crash happened last Tuesday on Highway 221 in Pilot Knob. A car drove into the path of a transit van. The driver of the car died. The van was carrying members of the Lutheran North Cross Country team. 2 students were seriously hurt. 8 other students and the coach who was driving suffered minor injuries. We are told none of the injuries were life-threatening. The school released a statement saying, quote, head of school Tim Brackman said, we are thankful for God's divine protection and that no one in our van was killed despite this terrible accident.
Well, just hours from now, opening statements will get underway in a central Illinois courtroom for a high-profile murder trial. Former Sangamon County Sheriff's Deputy Sean Grayson is charged in the murder of Sonia Massey. She was shot and killed last summer after calling police to her Springfield home. During court today, prosecutors dropped the charges of aggravated battery and official misconduct.
The shutdown showdown in Washington is entering its 4th week, and the government is still closed for business. The ripple effect is having a major impact of federal employees not receiving a paycheck and Americans who rely on government services.
It's Groundhog Day, you know, and I'm just saying, and it's not entertaining. That's a great movie, but this is and now it's like now real damage is going to are now touching the lives of regular Americans, and we all lose.
Senate Democrats need to vote for the clean bipartisan CR and reopen our government. They are the obstructionists.
And it will vote tomorrow for a 12th time on the GOP plan to fund the government until November 21st. Republicans and Democrats remain at odds on extending health care subsidies, which expire at the end of the year.
Congressman Wesley Bell has filed a bill to ensure local tornado victims can still get help while the federal government is shut down. The measure would authorize FEMA to maintain essential operations funded by the Disaster Relief Fund. That includes individual and public assistance programs. Bell says he doesn't see any current indication that payments would be interrupted, but he wants to ensure they never are.
When we see the administration defunding FEMA, I think it's important that we fully fund FEMA. We want to make certain no Americans who are victimized by a natural disaster don't get the resources that they need.
The legislation would classify FEMA's disaster response activities as essential functions, exempting them from shutdown restrictions.
More help is on the way for St. Louis families working to repair or even demolish their homes following the May 16th tornado. Today, Mayor Kara Spencer announced a new recovery center where homeowners can walk in for help clearing debris, repairing roofs, and stabilizing what's left after the storm. STL Recovers is located in the Old Commerce Bank at the corner of Natural Bridge and Newstead. Residents can also call 833-925-0977. An ultimate wish come true tonight for a young St. Louis boy.
The Make-A-Wish Foundation pulled off the surprise in a very special way with the help of a local car dealership. 5 on your side's Laura Barcheski brings us the story of a small but mighty champion.
8-year-old Javen Holmes has no idea where he and his family were headed in this fancy ride, but they ended up at Sunset Hills Subaru for a special surprise for this aspiring wrestler.
Thanks for me.
Yeah! Javen, wrestler named Juju, got to meet some local wrestlers from NWA World League Wrestling, and the surprises didn't stop there.
As Javen, but tonight he is Juju.
The Holmes family got to experience a live wrestling match. It's all part of his wish granted by the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Javen has been fighting sickle cell disease.
That's a blood disorder where his blood sickles. He has quite a few hospital stays. The last episode he had was March of this year.
Making each moment a precious one.
He's not like a regular kid. We gotta be careful with him. So yeah, just to get out and enjoy all this.
Not only did Javen get to experience a full wrestling match, he got to come up here and be in the ring to make his wish come true.
For that 15-20 minutes of time where he was going out there and he was the next wrestling superstar, that's what makes his world go round, that's what makes our world go round.
Javen was crowned the champion with a wrestling belt signed by John Cena and one last surprise.
You're going to Disney World, my friend.
I linked up with Subaru and they said absolutely. They found out that he loved wrestling, and so they really went with that theme.
All the hard work, all the effort that we put into this for the past couple of months, it was so much worth it just to see the look on his face and to see him lift that belt up.
So fun, like the best fun I ever had.
Reporting in Sunset Hills, Laura Barczewski, 5 on your side.
Looks good with that belt.
Oh my goodness, so sweet.
Yeah. I think he might become a wrestler one day. He looks tough.
He does.
Well, the local chapter of Make-A-Wish grants hundreds of wishes for families each year.
And if you would like to donate to make more wishes come true, we have a link on KSDK.com.
Stopping the spread of a soybean spoiler.
You can't see it with the naked eye.
Tonight, the fight against the rot ruining the top cash crop for Missouri and Illinois farmers.
One day it's healthy green, and then the next week it's starting to die on you.
Phone ban benefits. The new findings suggesting students are more dialed in at school.
The Orionid meteor shower peaks here tonight. I'll go over the forecast for how to view it as well. And then when rain returns to the region, that's all coming up next.
A menacing fungal disease is festering beneath soybean fields on both sides of the river.
Red crown rot is threatening the bottom line of bi-state farmers. It was first detected in Missouri last year and has already spread to 9 counties. In Illinois, 34 counties have confirmed infections since the incurable disease was first discovered there in 2018. New tonight, 5 on your side's Robert Townsend shows us the fight to save the top cash crop in both states.
I had heard rumblings, look out for it.
Daniel Gavillo says red crown rot is the culprit he's been watching out for.
We farm about 500 acres of soybeans. It was kind of a gut punch.
The Madison County farmer says in the past 2 years, the fungal disease killed about 20% of the soybeans on his family's farms in Alton.
There's a lesion right there in the stem that, it could have got in right there and caused the disease. You can't see it with the naked eye.
But the signs of red crown rot are there.
Summertime's usually the first time you start noticing red crown rot. You see it start in the leaves, and the leaves start turning yellow, and then they start necrosis in the leaves. And then you pull the plant and you see little red nodules on the actual root, and the roots start to die, and then the plant starts to die.
Gavillo estimates when his soybean plants died, he lost about $30,000.
It's tough going out there and you put your hard-earned dollar into trying to raise a crop, and you go out and one day it's healthy green, and then the next week it's starting to die on you. It's disheartening, really.
What are your fears?
That it's going to get worse.
Researchers estimate each year soybean farmers bring $2 billion to Missouri and $7 billion to Illinois. In fact, Illinois is the nation's top soybean producing state. So right now, it's not known how red crown rot arrived in the states or how to stop it. What is clear, it's spreading fast throughout soybean fields in Missouri and Illinois.
Not many farmers have it yet. So those who has the disease, they are struggling.
University of Illinois plant pathologist Boris Camilletti says red crown rot does pose a threat to Illinois and Missouri's top cash crop. Experts say a soybean field infected with the disease could lose up to 80% of its crops. What's more, they say right now the severity of the disease is the highest in Illinois' Metro East counties.
Every year, new farmers are reporting the disease. It's very difficult to control. Many factors that we still need to investigate.
Experts are also investigating in Missouri.
We have really good genetics in soybean, so we've been protected from a lot of diseases, and now we have red crown rot that is showing up. The fields where it is bad, it can be bad.
Researchers say red crown rot infects plants through the soil, and that's why they say farm equipment used in an infected field should be cleaned and disinfected before used in another field. Not a simple task.
It's a lot of long hours in the spring try to get it in, and then you take another couple hours of trying to clean off equipment between fields. There's only so many hours in the day. They say crop rotation helps. There's always something we're fighting.
So says the 6th-generation farmer.
They say the farmer is always the optimist, so you got to be optimistic.
Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
Researchers say red crown rot was first detected in Georgia peanut plants. back in the 1960s. After destroying fields for decades, the fungus began to suddenly decrease in those peanut fields, so no one knows why to this day.
A new study out tonight suggests cell phone bans in schools are keeping students better connected. Researchers found a significant decrease in unexcused absences in one Florida school district. Student test scores also improved significantly in the second year of the ban. A new state law went into effect in Missouri this school year, banning cell phones and devices in K through 12 schools. A similar bill is working its way through the Illinois State House.
Meteorologist Lance Blocker is here.
Lance, it's late.
It's midnight. Come on, give me a break.
It's past midnight.
It is.
Exactly. Anyway, you have the weather impact forecast. It is a chilly night.
For this morning.
I think a lot of people are going to be turning on their heaters.
That's right. They're going to probably need them tonight. Lows dropping down in the low to mid 40s. We were talking about the Orionid meteor shower here tonight. And this camera is unfortunately looking west. That's I-70 right there, westbound. There was a plane that flew by. I'm not going to lie. I looked up at it. I thought, did I see one? And no, it was a plane. It was moving fast, though, in my defense. All right, so overnight tonight, again, if you head out there and you just want to look up to the sky, maybe catch a glimpse of a meteor. They're peaking. It actually goes on through November the 12th, but tonight is one of the 2 peak nights for us here. Tomorrow night as well, 20 meteors per hour. Look southeast, give your eyes plenty of time to adjust to the darkness there. You might see 1 or 2 out there. Hopefully you do. All right, mid 40s for us here to start out today, so chilly. Grab your jacket. We warm into the low 60s tomorrow. Abundant sunshine across the region, but windy once again. This is the reason why. See that low pressure center way up there in the Great Lakes region? See all these little isobars is what we call these lines across the map? When they're greatly tight like that, that means there's a very high pressure gradient. The pressure changes very quickly. Of course, that means wind. That's why we'll be windy tomorrow. Once again, we got to get that system out of here, and it will move out of the region over the next 24 hours or so, but it's going to be a slow mover. Again, no rain, no clouds even for us out of this at this point, but the winds will stay in place tomorrow once again. Wind gusts upwards of about 20. That's a big difference from today where we saw wind gusts near 40. This is our next weather maker. It arrives on Friday. It should stick around through Saturday, bringing again a few scattered showers, light rain most likely at this point. Our better chance of rain returns to the extended forecast period. Let's go ahead and run that through now. You can see this forecast model showing this low pressure skirting us down to the south. That's why only isolated to scattered chance of rain. This is a better chance, still a little bit long-term out in the future. This is a week from today, or a week from yesterday at this point, I guess. But next Tuesday, this front is expected to bring scattered showers. If it has enough energy with it, we may even see some storms out of that. But again, that'll be on Tuesday of next week. So our first chance of rain, that first system, that's this weekend. You can see that in just a moment. Again, temperatures in the low to mid 60s over the next 5 days. So we'll be fairly consistent with that. Rain chances wise, again, though, I mentioned this, we stay sunny for us tomorrow and Thursday. Then clouds return to the region, a 20% chance of rain Friday. Friday night, though, probably a better chance, might be the best chance of rain. Could impact Friday night football there as well. Scattered showers hang around for Saturday. They get out of here on Sunday, that next front, next Tuesday.
Looks okay, though, later this morning.
Yeah, yes, in the next few hours, no doubt.
Lance, thanks.
Yeah.
Here's Corey with sports.
Blues fans got to welcome back an old friend and see the team's first overtime game of the season tonight. I think they enjoyed one of those things a bit more than the other. We'll wrap up the night on the ice next in sports. Early in the season, the Blues have been trying to figure some things out. Last game looked good against Dallas, but repeating that performance proved to be a challenge against the Kings tonight. Familiar voice was back in town, but he was calling the game for the visiting team. Former Blues broadcaster and current Kings broadcaster John Kelly got a rousing ovation after a nice video tribute at Enterprise Center. On the ice, Jordan Binnington was sharp. Look at some of these saves he made early. Binner was on tonight. Kings got one past him to start the scoring, though. Justin Falk's going to turn the puck over. Alex Laferriere goes top shelf on a breakaway, 1-0 LA. Falk would atone, though. Third period on the power play, and 72 snaps one in. That tied things at 1. For the first time this year, the Blues went to overtime. Pavel Buchnevich took a penalty to give the Kings the man advantage, and they would capitalize. Adrian Kempe beats Binnington to give the Kings the 2-1 win and the extra point. Monty, your thoughts on your team's start tonight?
It's disappointing. we didn't come close to executing the game plan. You know, we're going to have to change things up and do things different, you know, because we're not, like, the intensity we started the game with, just, it wasn't there. It was lacking.
The college basketball season is nearly upon us. Illinois already played an exhibition game, and Mizzou and SLU will do the same this weekend. So will SIUE. The Cougars will raise their banner for the program's first ever NCAA tournament appearance on Sunday. Now the road to a second banner begins. Here's the impressive thing. SIUE returns 6 key contributors from last season. Usually if a mid-major makes the tournament, it's a mass exodus to larger programs. That didn't happen in Edwardsville. The continuity mixed with some nice additions has the Cougars third in the preseason OVC poll and thinking about another trip to the big dance.
For us all to come back with our retention collectively together is something that I think is we're proud of. You know, we've had success because not only do our players know each other, our community know. Like, everything has been built on, you know, people that have been here from year 1 to year 2 to year 3, and you've had some changes here and there. But for us, that's a unique thing in college basketball right now, and I'm really proud of that. And I think that our returning size, especially, is going to impact us.
Mizzou football will play perhaps the most intriguing college game on the national schedule this weekend. The number 15 Tigers will face the number 10 Vanderbilt Commodores in Nashville. Mizzou wants another road win. They're going to need more success on the ground than they had in their double OT winner at Auburn. Mizzou ran for just 91 yards, and Ahmad Hardy averaged just 2.4 yards per carry. Here's Drink on the ground game.
We looked timid, like we weren't sure what we were or why we were running certain plays. You know, the plays we came downhill, I thought our counter scheme popped for us. You know, for whatever reason, we didn't get back to it enough. So I think it's a combination of making sure that we come back to plays that work, and it's a combination of making sure that our offensive line and tight ends are playing aggressive and they aren't overthinking it.
This 5 on Your Side St. Louis City SC coverage is sponsored by Together Credit Union.
Some City SC news today, well, yesterday, I guess. The team has reached some contract decisions. Among the notables, contract options were exercised for Chris Durkin, Sangbin Jong, Brendan McSorley, and Klaus. They declined options for Henry Kessler, Josh Yarrow, Akeel Watts, and Rasmus Alm, among others. The club said Kessler and Yarrow are still in contact about a potential return.
This is the NBA on NBC.
Yep, it's back. The NBA on NBC, complete with that iconic round ball rock theme. We got a great opener on ring night for the OKC Thunder against the Houston Rockets. Double OT, former OKC MVP Kevin Durant, tough and one that gave Houston the lead. But OKC has the current MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He worked the foul, nailed 2 late free throws to take the lead back. The Thunder won 125-124 in double overtime to kick off the NBA season. I'm glad that second game did not go into double overtime, or we'd be conflicting with Tissel.
Yes,
right.
we would.
We would be live on Today in St. Louis. Corey, thanks.
All right, pumpkins preserved. Tonight we verify whether these safeguarded gourds are good for animals.
Well, Halloween is creeping up on us, and some people are sharing tips online about preserving your perfect pumpkin well into November.
Yeah, tonight our Verify team looks into warnings that practice could be dangerous to your pets and wildlife. Here's Megan Bragg.
Carving the perfect pumpkin. It's something many families will do this October. To give it a longer shelf life, some people will dump the jack-o'-lantern in vinegar or even a bleach solution. Clorox, a company that makes bleach, says to preserve a carved pumpkin, you can dilute the bleach by adding no more than a tablespoon of bleach per gallon of water and then dunk your pumpkin in for a few seconds. But this social media post warns people against that, saying it could harm any wildlife that comes along and eats the pumpkin. Is that true? Let's verify. Our sources, Jennifer Gordon, director of Carolina Waterfowl Rescue, and the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Bleach is commonly used in agriculture, but the USDA cautions against its household use to clean raw fruits and vegetables that you intend to eat. But what about your pumpkins?
As long as people are properly diluting the bleach, which should be like 1 tablespoon of bleach to 1 gallon of water, and they just submerge the pumpkin for a minute, it doesn't really have any effect on the animals.
Gordon says that's because there is not a lot of bleach in the solution, and so the bleach dries up quickly and harmlessly.
They're not drinking the bleach when they're eating the pumpkin later.
So we can verify that no, as long as you are diluting the bleach properly, you can use it to preserve your carved pumpkins, and it will not harm any wildlife that consumes the pumpkin. With your Verify, I'm Megan Bragg.
You keep more stuffing in your wallet this Thanksgiving. The retailer says you can feed a table of 10 for less than $40. The meal includes 20 items, including a 15-pound Butterball turkey. Last week, Aldi announced a similar deal.
And there you have it, a very, 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 very late edition of 5 on Your Side at 10. We're always streaming on 5+.
Be sure to start your day in just a few hours with Today in St. Louis. That starts at 5 a.m.
If you don't like sleep.
Yes. Have a great day.